The U.S. government recently passed a law that will automatically enroll millions of men aged 18 to 26 into the Selective Service system. The mandate has triggered immediate public anxiety. For many, the prospect of the government proactively indexing its citizens feels like a direct preparation for a new major global conflict. But the United States hasn't actually used a draft in over 50 years. Since the end of the Vietnam War in 1973, the country has relied entirely on an all-volunteer force. If the military and White House are adamant that there are no plans for a draft, it raises a significant question. Why rewrite a 50-year-old registration law right now? Lawmakers are actually attempting to save a quietly collapsing bureaucracy rather than preparing for a third world war. For decades, the Selective Service relied on young men to self-report, requiring them to manually file paperwork within 30 days of their 18th birthday. That self-reporting system recently hit a breaking point, with overall compliance plummeting to a dangerous low of just 81%. The crisis was triggered by a simple bureaucratic change. 2 years ago, the government removed the Selective Service registration checkbox from the FAFSA student loan application. This chart shows the impact. After years of stable registrations, removing that checkbox wiped out nearly a quarter of all incoming enrollments. This gap represents millions of young men in legal jeopardy, as failing to register is a felony, carrying potential prison time. While jail time is rare, the administrative consequences are permanent. Non-registrants are barred from federal jobs, lose access to student financial aid, and even denied U.S. citizenship. Lawmakers were forced to find a structural solution after a student loan form inadvertently turned millions of teenagers into technical criminals. The fix bypasses the individual entirely. Instead of waiting for young men to sign up, the government is automating the process through existing databases. The Selective Service will now vacuum up data from state DMV records and federal Social Security numbers to ensure every eligible male is registered. There is also a significant financial motive. Maintaining the old system cost the agency roughly $30 million a year. Most of that budget was essentially wasted on advertising and education campaigns just to remind citizens to fill out their paperwork. Automating the registry allows the government to stop spending millions on marketing and redirect those resources toward actual military readiness. Even with a full registry, the Selective Service remains a dormant standby list. It has no actual authority to conscript anyone into service. Activating the system would require a catastrophic national emergency that completely exhausts the capacity of the current volunteer force. To even begin a draft, Congress would have to pass brand new laws specifically authorizing the president to induct personnel. If that hurdle is cleared, the government would still have to manage a birthday lottery and process millions of people through military entrance processing stations. Each person would then be sorted into specific classifications, ranging from 1A, those ready for service, to 4F for those who are unqualified. The massive legislative and logistical barriers in place make a sudden, overnight draft a practical impossibility. The most immediate consequence of the new law isn't military service. It's the creation of a proactive federal data dragnet. This automated system captures data on all men residing in the U.S., regardless of their citizenship status. That wide scope means refugees, asylum seekers, and undocumented immigrants are now being swept into a centralized federal tracking database. Legal experts worry that federal immigration agencies could eventually gain access to this newly centralized information. Modernizing the database also sets the stage for a constitutional debate over whether the draft must be expanded to include women. This new registration system represents a permanent expansion of federal data collection, replacing manual paperwork with a deeper layer of government surveillance.